with this miracle that has been established for you, he said, I'm going to give you a surplus on what you have. He says, pay your debt and live off the rest. This word pay in the Hebrew is so close to the word peace in Hebrew. And I've discovered that when she paid her debt, there was a new peace in her situation. That we have some debts, my brothers and my sisters, and because our debt had been paid by an outside source, it brought us peace. That our debt was paid, that we accrued the debt ourselves. And the reality is that sometimes we needed a cosigner. You know, I went to Morehouse College. It was more expensive than I thought it would be. I tried to get a loan. On the phone, they told me, you can't have a loan. You're not approved for the loan unless you have a cosigner. And there's some things, my brothers and my sisters, that we're just not approved for until we've been hooked up with our cosigner. You know our cosigner, that this woman, she had a miracle from the prophet, but we have a cosigner in Jesus. That Jesus said that you couldn't afford that peace on your own, so he co-signed on it for you. That you couldn't afford that healing on your own, so he co-signed on it for you. Anybody here glad that they have a cosigner, that they were in some debt, they were in a serious situation? There was some peace, some joy, some love that they did not have, but Jesus co-signed on their situation. And guess what, my brothers and my sisters? If you cannot pay your loan back, if you default on your loan, the responsibility is shifted to the co-signer. And guess what? I was sinking deep in sin, far from the peaceful shore, and I couldn't pay that debt back. So my cosigner, who is well able, he hooked my situation up. I'm talking about that one who transcends all cultural biases. I'm talking about the one that gave free health care to anyone that would listen. The one who gave free education to anyone who's surrounded by him. The one who gave free health care to the lame, the blind, and the dumb. I'm so glad that my cosigner knows how to fix my situation. So my brothers and my sisters, not only do we have this cosigner, not only are we recovered from our debt that gives us peace, but I'm so glad that we have a surplus to live after. That even when it runs out, that God still has extra for us. How do I know what I'm talking about? The hymn writer said, the blood will never lose its power. That the blood fixed my situation before, and it'll fix my situation again. They said it reaches to the highest mountain. It flows to the lowest valley. They said it'll never lose its power. Is there anybody here this afternoon that says, I'm so glad for the blood. I'm so glad I've been washed. I'm so glad that it reaches past all my situations. Is there anybody here can get happy with me that their cosigner fixed their situation? Is there anybody here that said you were sinking deep in sin, but the master of the sea heard your disparate cries, and from the waters he lifted you? Is he all right? Is he all right? I'm glad I can trust my cosigner. I'm glad when I default on my situations that there's one who left the adulation of angels for the curses of men. There's one whose name is Jesus. There's one who hung on the cross. There's one who died for me. Anybody here glad that he died? They took his body. I'm a Baptist preacher. Laid him in a tomb. He stayed in the tomb all night Friday, stayed in the tomb all day Saturday, but early, somebody shout early Sunday morning.